Hey, this is Dave Lucas with Coldwell Banker Realty. I'm with Andrew Cumpston from Pillar to Post Home Inspections for this week's Industry Spotlight. I got a few questions I wanted to ask him. How does a home inspection benefit the homeowner, home seller, or a home buyer? So, a little bit, Andrew, why don't you tell us, how long have you even been in Monterey and doing what you do?
So being a home inspector, it's been a little over 5 years now, 5 years and a couple months. August was 5 years, we're October now. I grew up building homes, family construction company, and it was just one of those things I figured, let's save my back in the long run and put my knowledge to use. And so yeah, we've been here for about 5 years now, and it's been great. Everybody's keeping us busy.
Good. What do you find most common are the issues in the Monterey County as opposed to other counties?
Honestly, majority of homes, the biggest thing is probably deferred maintenance. Nobody does everything they're supposed to be doing all the time. What makes Monterey County probably unique compared to some of the other counties is our coastal climate.
Right.
That coastal climate will wreak havoc on exterior metals, corrode attic vents, crawl space vents, door hardware, you name it. That coastal climate is going to affect it. And once your crawl space vents get compromised, rodents like to move in, or larger animals like to move in.
So just one thing leads to the other.
Exactly. It's more of a domino effect.
So could you walk us through what typically would happen in home inspection?
Yeah, home inspection, I'm pretty much looking at everything top to bottom. If I can walk your roof and do it safely, I'm up there looking at all those little fine details. We're up in the attic, outside, living space, crawl space, electrical, HVAC, plumbing, all the major systems. I'm kind of a general practitioner doctor, so to speak. I'm going to give your overall health assessment of your home and recommend specialists as needed.
Right, thank you. I've seen you put on the booties and go underneath the house. It's great. If you were to give one piece of advice for a buyer before an inspection, what would that be?
I guess that's the thing of, like I said, majority of homes have a lot of the same issues. You're really, truly never going to get a perfect home. We're always going to find something, and to kind of expect it. You know, even a brand new homes, the ones they're throwing at the marina, we have their issues, and I usually end up giving the builder the list and they correct those issues. But if you're buying a home, you look at certain ages, that can tell you a lot going into it. And I like to say I ensure confident home ownership to make sure that you and your family are comfortable moving into that home and going forward with the process.
Right on. So when you have, let's say, a 2,000 square foot home, how long does an inspection take? Is that an hour, 2 hours?
It really depends on how they kept that structure, but yeah, normally a couple hours, and that's going into every system, checking it out.
How does a seller benefit from a home inspector? A lot of times you see these pre-listing inspections. How does a seller benefit from that?
Seller, so yeah, we love to do market ready inspections, give that seller the list of the things with their home so nothing pops up later on. You know, like if you have a 1970s home and if you've got original plumbing, that plumbing's the end of life. So sometimes sellers can go in somewhat with blinders on. They don't see that plumbing every day, but it's gonna save them that heartache of, hey, you know what, we want to back out because it's gonna be $10, $12, $15,000 to repipe the house. So we're kind of getting on the forefront of that and letting that be known to begin with. And then that home can be priced accordingly, or some of those issues could be taken care of before the house goes on the market to make it more appealing for a buyer.
Wow, so essentially you do a lot of the negotiating aspects up front, so when the buyer comes, they know what they're getting, what's been fixed, or maybe what hasn't been fixed.
Exactly. As a seller, it's just more information, more weapons in your arsenal, so to speak. And rather than getting blindsided down the road of, hey, here's everything wrong, we want a major price adjustment or we're backing out now. It just, like I said, brings everything to the forefront.
Now, let's go ahead and brag on Pillar to Post a little bit. What makes you guys better than some of the other home inspectors? You guys kind of do a little bit of everything, don't you?
We try to be a one-stop shop for sure. I try to have a guy for everything. Any contacts, referrals, I try to have a guy for that. if not that being us to begin with. One thing we love to do on Market Readies is a one-time free reinspection. So some of those smaller low-hanging fruit, so to speak, you could get ahead of, clean that report up a little bit before that home hits the market. And really, we just try to be upfront as possible, and agents, they love that. I get buyers agents call me all the time asking questions about those inspections I did for Market Readies, and I'm able to talk and love talking with those agents and buyers.
When you're looking at home inspections, you got the pre-listing ones. What's the ratio of the homes that don't have that, and the buyer is purchasing that and using that to negotiate either a better price or at least have an understanding of what they're buying?
I want to say we're probably 90-95% representing the seller.
Okay.
Love that, in the homes that hit the market without those pre-listing market ready inspections, they tend to sit a little bit longer because, like I said, we're just putting everything out there. Like, this is the true condition of the home. And so it makes the process smoother, faster, in my experience. Obviously, as an agent, I can attest more to that, but I usually tend to see there be just a smoother transaction altogether.
Fantastic. After the inspection, how do you recommend buyers to interpret the reports? Like you said, you talk to the buyer broker. Are you also talking to the buyers themselves and letting them know you can fix this yourself? You need to hire somebody. What does that process look like?
So I do try to approach everything as fixable, because it truly is. Okay, no matter what it is, it can get fixed. I just leave out the part of how much is it going to cost. I'm going to leave that for the professional and that time that it would take to do it. But that being said, yes, I think a buyer should show up to the inspection. I mean, they're paying for it. They want that confident home ownership. So I definitely recommend they show up at least at the end, minimum. And if they want to do a phone call later on, that's no problem. Sometimes the agent will give me their phone and I'll FaceTime the buyer and I'll walk them around the property, show them different things. If they can't be there in person, I get it. People are busy, but it's just that fact of understanding one of the biggest purchases you'll ever make in your life, which is your home.
Right. It sounds like you really help out both aspects by doing the pre-inspection, and then after the seller does any of that work, coming back again, and then actually allowing the buyer to come in during the inspection or the end of the inspection, so they too can see and witness what you're doing. Sounds great.
Yes, I try to represent. I mean, the way I look at it, I'm there talking about the structure.
Right.
I'm not necessarily trying to get one over on the buyer if I'm representing the seller, vice versa. It's just, this is the facts about the structure, and I want people to understand that.
Nothing but the facts. I love it. Andrew, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Well, have a good business.
Thank you.